Welcome to Revell Scale Modelling. This is part 12 of Revell Star Trek USS Voyager Intrepid class. Scale is 1 to 677. In this part I'm going to be doing a little bit more prep work for the wiring and attaching the section to the secondary hull. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So the first job to do is to make sure everything is secure before I place on two leading wires. Now these wires are just an extension wires for when I place on the saucer section. I know I've got enough free wire to connect both parts together. It's not really necessary, but it does make your life a little bit easier if you've got more of a runoff. So I'm just soldering these up now. It's a simple case of bearing the wire from the sheath and attaching it to the existing connection. Now if you do it like this, you'll probably end up with a bit of a mess on your connection, various lumps and bumps of solder. It doesn't really matter so much. You're not going for a set looks here, because it's all going to be inside. Well, that's my theory anyway, so I'm not really too concerned that I've got a big clump of solder there. My main concern is as long as it's all connected together. So in that vein, again, I'm doing the light test to make sure everything is still working because I've done something different. So now I'm happy with the connection. It's time to seal it, all the connections, not make them stable. So I'm just putting some electrical tape around the bare metal parts. I should point out I did add another strip of LEDs, another 3 from the LED strips, and then placed it at the bottom. The reason why was I just wanted a little bit more light coming through. There was enough, but I thought a little bit more. So now I'm just placing in the shuttlecraft. Sorry for my head being in the way, I didn't realise that at the time. I'm securing that with a little bit of super glue. Now you're not generally meant to use super glue when you're attaching these things, but it's such a tiny little part, I thought it'd be okay. And once that was in, it's time to put on the saucer section. So I've scraped away the paint for the location points, and I'm just putting a good bead of contrast cement around the whole area. Paying particular attention to the actual main joint parts as well, so making sure that there's enough cement to go around. I've taped some of the wires out the way so they're not going to get trapped. Those are the two new wires I put in. So then it's a simple case of placing the saucer section onto the secondary hull. Now this fitted really well. The nature of the shape of it, you are going to have to hold this until it sets, maybe a good 10-15 minutes until it sets, but you're not really going to get a clamp in there just to hold it down. So it doesn't need a lot of pressure, you just have to hold it into a stable position. So I've left the Voyager to dry overnight, and it's the next day, and I've decided to add this little bit. This is the hangar doors for the shuttle bay. I'm going to modify this slightly and take away the actual door. Now this is actually meant to go near the front part of the door, but I'm going to put it at the rear. And the reason for that is when you look inside, you see all the wires and that through the shuttle bay. So I just want something to break that up, and this part's ideal for that. And then just giving it a coat of Revell Aqua Colour 91 steel to finish it off. Not doing nothing special to it. There's going to be a slight gap at the edges after dry fitting it, so I'm just adding on a couple of little bits of plastic card at the back of it, and I'll paint them in the same colour. So I'm just laying them on, and I'll check for fit and trim up as I go along. And once it's dried, it's ready to go in. So I mean, it's as I said, it's nothing special. It's just there to break up the wires and everything that you'll see if there was nothing there. So it's now time to connect all the wires. So first of all, I'm just trimming up the length of the wires. Obviously I oversized the wires for a reason. It was just easier to use, and now I've just got to snip them all down until I get a decent enough length I can work with, and it's all going to fit inside. So once I've got the length, I'm just prepping the wires. So I'm just taking off the plastic sheath to expose the bare wire inside. And then once that's done, I'll just twist them together. And of course, the all-important light test to make sure that everything is still working. As you can see there, the lights are coming on fine. Now that I'm happy with the connection, the last connection to make is for the aft torpedo launchers, and it's the same principle. I've cut down the length of wire, and I'm just connecting them to the two wires that I bared on earlier, and twist them onto those connections as well. Now there's 4 wires from this part going leading into the 2 main wires, so I'm having to make sure that everything is together and secure. Once I'm happy with it, I can start soldering everything into place. Now this soldering is a bit messy because the wire's quite thick, because there's about 3 or 4 different wires going into the one connection point here. So it's going to be a bit lumpy, unsightly, but that's all right because I'm going to be taping it up, and it'll be in the inside anyway, so you won't see it. But the main thing is, as long as they're all securely connected and nothing will move. And also putting the electrical tape on as well helps with this, as well as insulating the bare wire. I was then able to close everything up. It was a little bit tight. The fitting was alright, but because of the amount of wires in there, I wanted to spring back a bit. So I had to hold this for quite some time until it's set. As you can see, I'm having slight difficulty getting it fit, but that's all because of the wires. It's nothing to do with the kit. I left this to dry overnight as well, and I'm just painting the seam markings in now. And then the last part to go in is the deflector dish. There's 2 little prongs at the back of it that sits into the clear blue part. It looks slightly awkward to fit, but it really isn't. Once you line up the 2 prongs, it just pushes into position. And then it was time to give everything a coat of clear varnish. And for that I'm using the Pledge Clear Varnish or Polish. Once everything is dry, it's time to start the decals. So what I do is I generally cut them all off, right on the back of them, the number of the decal, put them on a mat or something, and prep to place them on. So to place the decals on, they're going in this normal way. I'm using softening them up with some warm water, then applying the micro set as my decal solution to place them on. As you can see, I've fast forwarded this process. I tend to do this on my videos. The videos would be hours if I'd done it in normal time. The decals themselves were easy enough to put on. There's surprisingly a lot of them, quite a lot of small little ones. But there was nothing that really challenged me. I did have one that slightly ripped, and that was on the main registration number. But it was a clean rip, so that was easy enough to sort out. But in the whole, the decals went very well. So I've left the decals to dry, and it's time to go on to the stand. And it's a simple painting process. So I went for Revell Colour 94 Gold. And the gold will need a couple of coats for the colour to start coming through. And the main colour, I'm using Revell Colour 90 Silver. So before I connected to the stand, I noticed there was a problem. I'm just taking off the masking tape that I placed on to protect the glass tube. And I think with the constant movement and things like that, the tube had actually cracked a little bit. So I'm going to have to strengthen that up. So I'm just putting a band of plastic card around at the base where the ship is, and I'll do it on the base of the stand as well. But there's a hairline crack just going up the central part of the column, so I'm just going to put little strips of plastic card in there as well, all designed to strengthen it. I really wanted that to be left clear so the light would come down and show you the wires going up to it, but that's not going to be possible now. Maybe in hindsight the insulin pen tube wasn't the best idea, or maybe I was just too heavy-handed while moving the kit around. I'm not sure, but I had to do this, or I would have had to open it all up and put a new stand in. And then I just painted everything on the stand Revell Colour 90 Silver. And once it was dry, then I was able to put the base of the stand on. So I'll just turn it upside down there. You can see it's quite a good fit actually, even though, as I said, the glass cracked slightly. Then all I was left to do is the last wiring process. So I fed the wires through the hole that I drilled earlier on at the beginning of the build, and I'll just simply connect these two wires up. Once I've connected the wires, I'm just putting a little bit of super glue down to hold these wires in place. And then I'm also going to add a little bit more sprue glue inside the stem or the tube of the stand, again just to give it more strength. I'm a bit paranoid now because it cracked slightly, so I just want to give it as much strength as possible. And now for the final light test, and that'll complete the build. So therefore the next part of the video will of course be the final reveal. So in the meantime, and if you haven't done so already, why don't you nip over to the channel and have a look at my other builds. While you're there, subscribe to the channel if you don't mind, and hit that notification bell, that way you'll be kept up to date, not only this build, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching, bye bye.